I'll give you a few tips on setting up your ghost blind. You have to remember the mirrors are going to reflect whatever you have them pointing at. If you lean the mirrors back, it's going to get sky. If you lean them forward, it's going to pick up the ground. This is an extreme example of what not to do. Obviously, this is not a hunting location, but it shows you that you want to pull the blind back off the field. You'll want to set back in the brush just a little bit. You don't want to set out in the field because you have to keep in mind whatever image is in front of the mirror is what's going to be on it. So if you're looking at it from a distance, it's going to silhouette the field against the brush that's behind you. So you just have to pull the blind back off the field into the woods 3 or 4 feet. As you can see from these examples, pulling the blind back 3 to 4 feet off the field makes all the difference in the world. Also, if you're going to be hunting in the edge of a cornfield, you'll want to go back into the first row of corn. You can actually even cut some of the stalks off and lay them in front of the blind to give you something more to reflect off to make it appear to be another row of corn. Setting up in the middle of a field with a low setting or a low rising sun would be the most difficult setup you can do. Keep in mind, if the sun is setting low behind the blind, it will cast a shadow out in front of the blind, and that's what it will pick up on the mirrors. Most generally, it's best to have the sun hitting the front of the blind, which will make it look the best. Obviously, if the sun is high in the sky or it's an overcast day, that will be your easiest setup. Worst case scenario, it will always look better than a fabric blind out in the middle of a field. When you set up in the woods, you can pretty much get away with anything. You're going to have lights, you're going to have shadows in different places in the woods. I always like to set up with a tree to my left and that's at the rear of the panels. That way it gives me a little bit of coverage if something come up behind me.